use Angel the Artist?
So I've been Angel the artist since before Meta.
Yeah.
That was just my username. That was always the branding that I was kind of on with the I do art and I love all forms of art. And even
Of
if
course.
I just found out about a new art form, I'm trying to like get my hands in it and see if this is like, is this something that I want to keep doing or is this something that I can just say I did, kind of thing. So that name kind of just always stuck with me since like high school. And I just kept developing it and working on the brand with it. It all just came together.
Did you go by anything before that? Like, is it something that somebody gave you and you accepted it right away, or was it like, nah, man, I'm not gonna use that right now, and then down the road, you're like, you know what, maybe I am that artist.
Um, no, yeah, I don't think I've ever had any other like I'm gonna come up with this. Like it's always been Angel the artist. With it started out with just like paintings, doing portraits and stuff like that. And I went by that. And then all the way to like to tattooing, to XR development and all that stuff. Like it's always just been the artist. Like it's just so many different forms of art to can't just be like, oh, the musician or oh, the
Yeah.
painter, So it's always been the artist.
No, it definitely encompasses everything, and it allows you to use it as a umbrella, I guess you can say for
Hmm.
that. Because sometimes it is hard, you know. There's things like I've seen people who are passionate about music, and then they get passionate about creating art within that. They get into wanting to create, and they think, man, okay, I can do art, and I can do this, and it sucks having to rebrand. So now I mean, since the beginning, you have it covered. It's something that
Hmm.
you don't have to worry about no matter what it is, and it's true. I mean, I've seen your profile, I've seen the stuff that you put up, and other things have tagged you, and I think it's pretty awesome, that you do immerse yourself in art. Tattoos being a big one. Does it ever bother you, like when you do the tattoos or when you started the tattoos, that you're like not bother you, but like that extra pressure? You're painting, you can erase or you can work over it, but with tattoos, you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dang.
For sure. Because I'm a self-taught tattoo artist.
Hmm.
So literally during the pandemic, I had like paid this huge deposit towards a tattoo school. And they hit me back, just like, yeah, well, since the pandemic's happening, we can't do this. So you
Oh
can
wow.
either look at all the videos that we provide to you or we can give you your money back and you never come back. And I was just like, never come back is crazy. But I was just like, you know what? I got my money back and I used all that money to just get all of the supplies that I would need. And I started practicing. My mom, as soon as the supply came, she was just like, here. She just like gave me her arm, was just like, go at it, kind of thing. And I was like nervous because I was just like, oh, this is going to be on her for the rest of her life. Like, I'm going to have to see it. She's going to have to see it for the rest of our days if I mess this up. But even with like the small mistakes, I was able to like fix them and progress, and I didn't have that much pressure because she was just willing to just be that canvas for me, and a lot of my members of my family were like just willing to just I mean, you're getting a free tattoo,
Yeah.
so
Ah, for sure.
you just get the risk that someone that you already know is well within the art industry is just taking on a new tool. So they had a lot of faith in me, and I definitely thank them for that. And I just kept practicing. And the
Man, that right there is like a good metaphor for what life is right there. Because the fact that she was able to support you, and I'm sure it obviously made you afraid, but at the same time, like the fact that yes, it's permanent, but at the same time, you understand there's not much you can. So you do try to
Mhm.
mitigate as much as you can and do as much, and that she trusted you to do that. And when you think about it, that it can only get better. You know what I mean? So if you can, if you trust it during those times, you're hoping that later on it's getting better. And I'm sure you've been able to definitely the investment has definitely been able to give back to them on that. So that's actually pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, absolutely. They've seen it. They've seen the progress. And they seen once I like got into the career of it and was making all the money. Literally, tattooing is the reason why I got into headset because I like
that
the headset was a gift to myself after I made my first thousand in
that's what I'm
tattooing.
talking about.
So I was
You
just like,
see.
"Oh, I'm gonna get me a headset," and boom, all of this happens after. So it was just like it's always something within art that's always like blowing up for me, and I always grab it and just hold on tight and just ride the wave of art.
Is that necessarily something that you like overall? Do you, when you fall into another like art, I guess medium, like do you try to recreate what you've already recreated, or is it something like I'm gonna do something new in this? You know what I'm saying? Like let's say you created a song, and that song, does that develop into a painting that has to do with that song, or is it more of like I just want to start something new when I get into a new form of doing art?
I think it's always been a new form, just because whatever that tool is that I'm using, whether it's the paintbrush or the Apple pencil or the tattoo machine, it's like something that rings off as just like, ooh, with this tool you should do this. It's never been like oh, let's transfer this to this to this to this to all these different mediums and see how it comes out. Although that would be cool. Now that I think about it, that would be a dope project. But it's always just been like, oh, if I am in the painting form, then I'm gonna do this. Or if I'm doing a tattoo, this is the style I like for that. Or if I'm building a world, it's gonna be surrounding this. Like the only thing that's ever common in all the mediums is that color green.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say that's a big your style. I'm not even gonna lie. Like a lot of your, like even like when you came through, I was like, dang, she's got, and you do a pretty good job of like accessorizing the green, right? It's not like just like like whoa, we got just green. It's like accessorizing the different shades of green. So I think that's actually pretty cool.
Mhm.
And it's how do you feel about like all the ways that you can kind of customize yourself, not just in Horizon, but like overall in the metaverse? Do you feel like we're getting into that aspect where you're expressing yourself almost fully?
Yeah, I think Meta has definitely done a really good job with how much they've been adding into the closet and stuff like that. Because when we first got on, whew, we didn't have we didn't have all these choices, and it was definitely not a lot of green. But now it's just like we got so much customization, and if I'm really feeling picky about a certain outfit, then I can just do my job and build it in Blender and then throw it
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
world and just pop in
yeah.
there and
That's
be like,
it.
hey, look what I'm wearing, kind
Bring the
of
party
thing.
to
So
where you're at. I like that.
right. So I've definitely loved the custom skin color and and the like little makeup and stuff like that. So that's definitely helped me get this like unique look, I guess you would say. So I'm not just the regular or whatever. It kind of helps with the whole
Yeah,
Faye branding
persona and
and
everything.
green
Yeah,
and all that
branding.
stuff. Yeah. So it's been really great, honestly.
And the cool thing about it is, like you said, you can kind of like, I mean, even having the green screen, the green skin is crazy. You know what I mean? Like not crazy,
Hmm.
but the fact that it's given that option. Because
Right.
sometimes people are like, I mean, in the metaverse, I'd shoot green, purple, blue. Sometimes it's cool to see other people and how they stylize themselves and how does how their whole avatar looks. Some people want it to
Mhm.
look exactly how I guess their in real life person looks, and some people sometimes want to express how they want to express. And once again, I think you do a great job with green. And there's other people that I've seen that also have like kind of taken their style. I've seen like Danica, for example, or like Hardy, that has like a certain outfit that they wear. Howard is another one that I've seen that is a little different as far as like the way that they look, and it does really good for their branding, their marketing. So
Mhm.
that's actually pretty cool. Tattoos though, I don't know if you guys are hearing over there in Meta, man. Tattoos, what do you think about tattoos? You think we should have tattoos already or what?
Absolutely. I don't know how they're gonna do it because it would just be like a Sims pre-select thing, but I don't know. Something that just allowing more body markings is
Yeah.
just up in the customization level is always going to be a good thing for their users. Listen, I've been waiting on this pregnant body shape, but they didn't bring
True.
that out. I put it in the Discord and they didn't hear me, so it's okay. By the time they
Man,
figure that, I've already would have delivered.
that is true. I was about to say that would have been a great like way to be able to announce it, like have it
Hmm.
come out as a feature. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't know why. I didn't really think about that. I usually talk about different like because this is obviously forming the body types that however people pick, you know what I mean? They've talked about how social media filters and stuff like that have kind of affected people as well as for their body types and things like that. So, you know, sometimes I think about it, you know, how much do they have to give us in choices until, you know, it doesn't it represents everybody. You know, it doesn't, nobody feels left out and can represent themselves. So that is true.
Mhm.
I never thought about a pregnant body. Wow. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
And you would
I
think
had to
it'd be
build it in tri-mesh.
hey, but at least you, man, that's crazy, bro. Um, so earlier you were talking about how you put a goal for yourself to be able to basically buy your headset, right? Or, you know, be able to put that goal out to until you reach it to be able to get your headset. I have two questions on that. The first one is, was this the first set you got, or what was your entry into the VR like aspect of this stuff?
Yeah, my first entry into VR was me buying that headset with the tattoo money, and I already knew about VR chat because I had it on my computer, like I
On
was
Steam?
like on PC mode.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm looking at all the little avatars and it's saying quest only. I'm just like, man, like what's going on here? Like, what is this about? Like, so eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna get this headset. I'm end up seeing how this is about and whatnot. So it was literally just to see what avatars look like in headset. But little did I know that it was really gonna open up to like this whole branch of amazingness and chaoticness sometimes as well. But yeah, it definitely opened up so many doors, so many friendships, relationships, and like it's been a wild ride. I'm so thankful of the journey that I had to get there to get to this headset.
And it's crazy because it just, you know, like you said, it was a goal you put forth and you said, let me get this. And you probably didn't really, I mean, you know, like you said, you're looking at the avatars and whatnot. Was Horizon or Venues the first place, or did you try other games beforehand?
Um, After VR chat, I immediately downloaded Beat Saber because I was obsessed with the
Mm-hmm.
gameplay of that. So I definitely did those two things back and forth, VR chat and Beat Saber. And then not a lot of my friends had a headset, so like it ended up collecting dust after a while. But that Christmas that came around 2021,
Yeah.
my friend got a headset and they was just like, "Oh, what's Horizon Worlds?" I was just like, I don't know." It was like, "It's free." I was just like, "Well, we downloading it." So I went the other one, got in, and we're meeting other people, and so it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then once I seen that people were making the worlds, I was just like, "Oh, a new obsession. Got it." That's where like the art just exploded and became therapy in here. And then little did I know it, the business side came as well. But it was it was all about therapeutic making art for free. No
Yeah.
deposits. You don't have to buy paint and stuff to create stuff in these worlds. So that's what I was obsessed with when I first got in here. And then all the other doors open later, but definitely just being able to create with my virtual hands, I guess, and just see it come alive and people be able to see it as well was amazing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think a lot of people enjoy the fact that it's like a, you don't have to get on Blender, or it doesn't have like a desktop editor in the beginning in that aspect. And you know,
Mm,
you being able to build everything by hand, you know, it definitely adds. It's like MySpace days, or you
right.
know, MySpace days when you had to just copy and paste the code. You know, it gives you that power. And then the people who wanted to look more into it, they looked at more into it and started customizing things and started changing things and doing their own stuff. What does your family think about what you do since it's grown? You know, I've seen you get the headset to now, basically, you know, you work full time, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My
Dang.
mom loves because I've been like I've told her everything from beginning to end, all the great things, all the not so great things. Like I've told her everything, and she's just been so proud of like the progress of anytime I'm like, I got a new idea, or I'm like casting it on the
Oh
TV.
wow.
She's just like, oh my gosh, oh, this is different. Especially when I was doing the boombox series, when I kept like
Mm.
redoing the boombox every year, revamping it. She's like, oh my gosh, like it just kept feeling like a new update version of the game, and you can also see the progress on what I learned in building and scripting as well. Um, and she saw it, so she's definitely not going to be shy on how she feels about her daughter, and she
That's what
will
I'm
let
talking
me
about.
know like, you did that. Oh my gosh, this is great. And especially with all the opportunities that came after it as well. Yeah, she brags for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. And that once again, it brings us to the beginning. I know it sounds silly, but the whole, here's my arm, tattoo, learn here, giving you that
Hmm.
that 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 foundation and giving you that push. Because unfortunately, we think about it and it's not always given. There's a lot of times where I'm sure, you've had family members or maybe people from your extended family or even friends and family that after a while we're like, hey, why are you wasting time on that? Or that's stupid or whatever the idea is that you
Hmm.
have at the moment that kind of shied away from giving you that time to kind of explore it. Sometimes you have to trust not in, I guess, if you don't know it, you have to trust in the person. So like if I know you personally and let's say I'm a family friend or whatnot, I have to trust that you are always looking for the best, you're always doing the best, and you're always trying to grow. I may not have an idea what this metaverse or VR stuff is, but the fact that you even are doing it and bringing it up, it's something that I can store in the back of my head saying, okay, that I think that's something I should keep an eye on because she's always on the front end of things. So
Exactly.
that's awesome that your
Absolutely.
mom's like that, man. That's awesome.
Yes. She's definitely like, and she's never swayed. She's never deterred since day one. There I
Oh,
have been other people, especially when I had quit my teaching job,
yeah,
to be in here full time. It was a lot of people within my family and quotation marks friend side of things, and they were just like, nah, like for a game, like a game.
yeah,
That's all I was hearing. Like for a game, a video game, and it's like like it was one of those, and a lot of us we speak about it in the community as well. We're just like they're not gonna understand unless they got into it, and they found out it was for them because it's not for everybody, and we understand that. But for the ones who it is for and can really flourish in here, like there still needed to be some more faith put into those people because if I had 10 of my moms that was doing that, I think I'd have probably been going even further because my
yeah,
confidence would have been so high.
yeah.
Not saying that my mom doesn't give me enough. For
No, no, for
sure,
sure.
she
Yeah,
fills my cup, but I'm saying like if a lot of people had that same support on like a huge scale, then we would be better off for sure.
that's what I'm talking about. And as far as like your intermediate family, how are you been like kind of introducing the VR? Like, are you introducing it to your kids and whatnot?
Oh yeah. Well, my kids have literally firsthand seen the development of me in
Oh,
VR, so
yeah, that's true.
they're always just like, "Oh,
Front
let me
seat.
get in, let me get in." My son is they're both young. My oldest is 6,
Oh,
and
okay.
um when I first got on, he was 3,
Wow.
probably
Yeah.
3. So,
Yeah. Time
the
flies. Wow.
headset is like wobbly on his head, whatnot. But he's been in here. He's been in Horizons and I've only like had him around like the really close friends. So like
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Chan
people you know.
and Charm. Um he would be in there talking to them, and it just like he can see it. I can see like the glow in him. So I'm just like, oh, wait till you get older, because it's gonna be a ride. Like, but for sure, definitely want them to be well immersed within not just VR, but just tech in general, just because that's going to be big for our future. So, and he already finds, being on the phone, whether it's photography or Roblox.
No,
um,
Roblox. Yeah. Jeez.
yeah, he's already into it. So it's not so much of me just trying to finagle a more educated programs into there for him so he can just like learn coding and learning graphic design or learning game design without even knowing it because there's so many apps like that.
God, it's so exciting, man. It's so exciting to just see how much this is getting pushed and just overall. I mean, it does cause a little bit of an oversaturation sometimes, but I feel like for the people who have the love for it, no matter what, those people usually stick and stay around through whatever
Mm-hmm.
cycle goes through these industries. Um, so I have to ask you the aspect of let me see how I can word this. So as far as you creating within here, right? have you focused more on just overall all types of art that you bring out, like, or is it just your music or just your painting, or have you been kind of trickling in more and more of what you do?
It's definitely been a variety. It's more so on how I've always been doing art. Like whatever just starts popping up in my mind and like the gears are turning so hard, so fast, so loud that I can't ignore like when a blueprint starts developing in my mind. And I'm just like, all right, I have to build this world because I can see everything in my head of how it's supposed to look and everything. So that's usually how like all of my worlds have been made. Like it's some type of vision that's just like it's how it's supposed to look, and I'm not gonna stop showing you this. Like one of those broken record songs. I'm not gonna stop replaying it until you actually
You
execute it.
putting in there?
Yeah. So it's just like,
Okay.
but it has mostly revolved around either music, either mental health. I also like anything
Yeah.
that I also enjoy. So I love horror. So you'll see some like Nightmare Before Christmas, and you'll see like some horror games. Um,
Lord.
you'll also see like just me being a romantic, like Chartreuse Love, and just incorporating whatever I can in a visually pleasing aspect because I also like the architectural aspect of building homes and stuff like that and just chill spaces for people that don't want to be in like rowdy clubs or anything like that. They just want an intimate space to be at. It's always just been whatever's floating in my mind that makes me happy. It makes me feel safe.
Do you feel like sometimes that you've changed maybe the way that you create or see art because of how you created here in the metaverse or here in VR now?
um I would say definitely. Well, yes and no, because I mean I've never had like a steady flow of style. Um, aside from the green, that's the only thing that's ever been like stagnant in. Oh, this is an angel piece because it's always just been the color. Otherwise, it's always floating in all different aspects of me. Whether it's like what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, or emotion that I need to process, I had to put into an art form, whether it was a song or a sculpture or a world. Um, whether it's me just expressing who I am as a person for people to get to know me better, like our safe space. Um, it's always, I guess, the style has always been representation of me, without even people knowing it sometimes, because sometimes they can just see as a reflection of themselves because
Yeah.
sometimes pieces are relatable. Um, but ultimately, everything that I made is always like a reflection, a very tiny piece of me put into it.
And I like that. I really do like that because you know, it's great to be able to see the perspective of what that person's art is, but also be able to see them in it. I do remember you have a world with where you kind of simulated anxiety in my and in that I you know I say there's a lot of veterans that suffer with PTSD and many people that suffer with anxiety and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, that world is actually something that I think a lot of people should definitely check out, especially if they are somebody that maybe suffers from that, because not only does it feel like they're like it's a good simulator, I think it's a great way for to be able to immerse yourself. You know, a lot of anxiety and a lot of
Hmm.
PTSD that people have is because they unfortunately cannot go back to that memory, or they cannot take back some of that control from that, you know, if whatever happened at that time. So I think the VR has been very great, not only for veterans, but for other people to be able to immerse themselves in those situations or immerse themselves in whatever they need to be able to immerse themselves. Um, what are your, as far as like, I guess, worlds that help you out with your mental, besides your worlds, I guess, do you have any apps or any worlds that you recommend through here that you've really liked?
Um, oof. It's kind of hard because like there's so many different worlds that I have for different things
Okay,
regarding
so
different
you've used,
aspects of my mental health.
okay.
So it's just like for one, Michael Gregory, any
Mm.
escape rooms that he makes is frustrating to figure out, but also calming and gives me a very positive dopamine aspect effect when completing those worlds. So definitely a shout out to Michael Gregory.
Okay.
Um, And then when I want something like visually, like definitely gonna brag about one of my best friends, but
Hey, shout it out.
um, Sadie Chan and the trippy worlds,
Yes.
just like when I really just want a visual trip, like I can literally just sit and stare and be in a usually I go in a closed instance because
Mm,
I just need to space out and I don't want anybody interrupting me at all. Um for sure, love those. Anytime it's like a social aspect. Um I haven't been on here in a social aspect in a while, but when I was in a like more consistent basis, one of the things that I really love was Price's Basements.
yes.
Different the
Oh
different
yeah.
music artists and the way the style would change for them. It was just like mind blowing, like just amazing. um, and then
That's a great
there's just
example.
various worlds from even people who haven't like or maybe not as known. And sometimes I go to the worlds and be like, oh wow, I didn't even know this person made it. And I'm just there, and I'm usually world joining off of other people. So sometimes it's not even about the world; it's just about who's there. So give that positive reassurance to company rather than just being like, oh, okay, I'm only here to look at the world and be on
Yeah.
my artistic perfectionist thing of what I need to be learning, kind of thing as well.
Oh, dang. Okay. So I like that, man. There's definitely a lot of places in here that are pretty trippy. And, people think that VR chat has a lot of the only places to get in there. They do have some great spots. I'm not going to lie. There's some
Hmm.
spots in there that are freaking amazing and crazy as well. And I don't know, really mind bending. But there is a lot of spots that are growing in here, especially with, the new tools and stuff for people to be able to bring stuff from Blender.
Hmm.
So I do like that. You said you're big on horror and stuff like that. Do you have? I asked the last person this too, but do you have any movies or any TV shows that you say are like ones that you like the most on that?
Um, Wait, just any movies?
Yeah, so like I like those thrillers that kind of mess with you a little bit. I'll say like Shutter Island was one from last time.
Oh my, I was
Um,
just looking at a post about that too.
but yeah,
I
movies like that.
absolutely love, yeah. That's like literally my favorite subgenre of horror. Like those ones where you're just like you're on the edge of your seat and the next thing you know, the whole movie plot flips
Yeah.
and you're just like, "Wait, excuse me?" Shutter Island is a very good one of that. Fractured is another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh gosh, I hate when I blank on movie names. I like I'm like I'm not great with the jump scares movies. Like they don't really excite me as much and I don't really need my heart racing all the time. I
Yeah.
rather have my heart racing because I just discovered the plot twist, kind of ordeal. And then I also get to see some slashing and blood and whatever. But definitely the suspenseful, the plot twisting, the thrillers, for sure. And even just regular movies as well. My absolute favorite movie of all time is Wolf on Wall Street. That
Oh,
is,
nice. Oh, that's a badass
yes,
movie.
yeah, very much underrated. My favorite movie of all time.
Man, that's crazy because a lot of those movies, like Goodfellas, is another one I like because a casino because they follow kind of the same structure, and it's very, I don't know, it's very empowering. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Hmm.
a very Pain and Gain is a little different movie. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that one's also like I don't know what about it. It's got Mark Wahlberg and The Rock in it, but it's like very empowering in the way that they do it. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street's a really good movie. That one's
Hmm.
definitely something that man, if I watch that movie, I'm getting some done for sure. I don't know what it is, but I'm getting some done. um, so as far we talked about a quote, I usually have the guest bring a quote. And you gave me a pretty. I'm not gonna lie, your quote is a little longer. But I think it's a pretty good quote to go with. Can you kind of tell us what the quote is and kind of explain it? Oh, I think she called out real quick. Well, I'll take this time right now to let y'all know this is Motivation Monday. We do it every single Monday. I try to bring guests from all types of paths here in the metaverse. I've had all types of different people, and I want to shout out everybody who supports it and comes through. I try not to make it too big of a deal about the audience because this is more of like having the guest and kind of having those questions and it's non-scripted. We have the conversation as it goes. I try not to have the same conversation with the same questions, but sometimes we get into it and it's fun. I try not to script it too much. I want to make sure that we get to know the speaker and what motivates them as much as possible. But once again, I do want to remind you guys, if you have friends and family, I remind everybody all the time about this, but if you have friends and family that are distant or maybe have felt that are acting a little bit different, or just reaching out to anybody, it doesn't have to be only when they're feeling down. Make sure you guys are reaching out to your friends and family and people that you guys meet in here. It just takes maybe a second to reach out and say, hey man, how's your day going? Or what did you have today for lunch or dinner, or whatever it is, whatever you want to ask at that time, to kind of get a feel of how that person is doing. And for some people, you never know, I mean, that might be that one thing that's kind of snapping them out of whatever they're going through. So definitely check that out. And once again, man, I appreciate y'all for coming through. This is Motivation Monday. The whole reason why this was started was to basically motivate people on Monday. I mean, not a lot of people like Mondays because, we're ending up the weekend. We just got done relaxing, recharging, and we definitely don't want to go back to work for the most part, right? So this is kind of something to get people to understand that it doesn't matter where you are in life. If if it's somebody you look up to or somebody that maybe you find as a peer, they still have to get up on Mondays and they still have to do the stuff that they got to do. And if it's not a Monday, I promise you it's a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. It doesn't matter how much money they have. There's something they have to attend to at that moment. But hey, here we're back.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. That's what we're here for.
Power
Um,
just was like, nope, not today.
that's what I figured that might have happened. Um, so the last thing that I left off on was the quote. You gave me a quote, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a little longer than the usual quotes I get, but it's a very good quote. And if you can you read the quote for us, and then just kind of explain it what it means to you? And I like, it's kind of crazy reading the quote. Kind of fits what you literally have been talking to us throughout this whole time. But
Yep.
if you can give us the quote and kind of explain why you picked that quote.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's a quote by Erica Badu,
Hmm.
and it goes, "I don't feel like I need to preach to the world or nothing like that. I just feel like what I share, what I say, and if the listeners get it, they get it. And I never underestimate the audience ability to feel me." And essentially, one of the things that I'm always telling people, like, especially when it comes to the music, the whole like, oh, you're gonna be big. Do you want to be big? Do you want to be big and famous and stuff like that?
Hmm.
That terrifies me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am honestly like, I'm not trying to reach a huge audience, or like persuade people to have to or want to listen to my music. Um, I just know that when I create this art form, there are certain people that it hits, and it's just like, oh, I feel this. I feel this so much. Like, oh my gosh. And that's the only supporters that I want. Those are
That's what I'm
the
talking
only
about.
type of people that I want to support me and see me grow and everything. The people that are literally like, I can feel this. I know what you're going through, or I felt this way before, or dang, I felt like I couldn't get where you were. I felt like I was in your position. Any of those people, like, that's what I want to consider the fan base. So I don't need the whole entire world to to know who I am, and it's scary to feel like I can't be able to go to my nearest bodega without
Yeah.
being, trampled, all that stuff. I know it's the anxiety that I have. But all that stuff I think about. And it's absolutely terrifying. So I'm more so just like, when my close friends are listening to it and they're just like, yo, this slaps. This is so good. That's what I cherish. My mom is just like, no matter if it's like the song is raunchy or if it's just real intellectual, she's just like, yes, like, oh, I felt that, like, that's what I want. Random people that are just like, oh my gosh, you're Angel the artist, but don't know who actual Angel the artist is. I don't need those type of people, kind of thing.
They hear somebody say it, so they want to be a part of it too, like that type of stuff. Not necessarily. I like that. I respect that, because it is true. You definitely want to have the people that are going to propel you. Sometimes you have a lot of people taking space that necessarily aren't there as fans. They're there, as a plus to somebody. You know what I mean? Just to
Hmm.
come through. What would you say to, I guess, an artist or a creator that is trying to basically have that courage to be able to put out stuff and not necessarily, not that you don't care what people necessarily think about it, but it's constructive criticism, I guess, to you. What would you say to somebody that's trying to build that courage and help them with that?
I would say grow around really great people, like a really great support system. Because those are going to be, those people are going to be the reasons why you skyrocket, why you hit that big break, or why you have the enough confidence to actually get on the stage, even though you have stage fright. Those people are the ones that are putting the batteries in your back, essentially, or giving you the recipe to make you feel like, yeah, I can do this. Making sure you have all of that real raw support surrounding you, because it can get really detrimental when you don't have a clear positive circle of friends or colleagues or whatever around you that can really mess things up for you, or wish malice on you, or mess up your energy. So it's always about the support system for sure.
And what have you done yourself to make sure that your support system has kind of filtered out those people that maybe are not into your best interest?
It's always been trial and error. I'm always giving people the benefit of the doubt, just because it's a reading people experience for me. So it's never going to be like, oh, I regret meeting this person, or I regret
Yeah,
this friendship falling out and whatnot. They've all been lessons. They've all helped build me to be who I am today. So it's never going to be like oh, I wish I wasn't nice to that person. I'm completely always going to be content with how my positive side brings onto people, even if it's not reciprocated. I'm never going to regret being nice to people that have, steered me wrong or sideways, um, because that's just who I am as a person.
yeah.
Um, and that's who everyone should strive to be, or have those people in their circle as well, because that only makes you a better person. It only makes you want to strive to be a better person than you were yesterday. And it makes, hopefully, it makes you want to like always develop your skill set, gain a new skill set, and just keep progressing and showing the people that actually support you what you can do, what you can be, and how much further you can go.
That's what I'm talking about. And it comes with, like, how the saying says, you can't be everybody's cup of tea. I always
Hmm.
think about it like, you definitely can't be everybody's cup of tea, but you also have to remember not to make your cup of tea bitter for the people who, your cup of tea is for them. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes we kind of bitter ourselves up, or maybe the people who do support us, we don't show them as much love because they're a given. You get what I'm saying? It's like, oh, they're going to support us either way. I'm trying to get the support of this person, or I'm not, or I value this person more because it's harder for me to reach their support. So
Hmm.
it is true. Sometimes you also have to acknowledge and trying to figure out who plays what part within your life. And unfortunately, some people don't have parts. You know what I'm saying? Those people later on maybe might fall in somewhere, but for now they don't. Angel, what do you have going on in the next 6 months? What are we going to be seeing from you?
Oof, a child being born. I was um,
Congrats, by the way, on
but
that.
thank you. But that's mostly the main focus right now. This baby's coming, and I am ready to go back into mommy turbo mode. um,
Heck yeah.
and I'm excited about that. Doesn't mean that the music is going to stop. I'm actively working on a project that I hope I can release within the middle of fall, early winter, maybe. So that's in the books. I've been dropping a lot of singles, just to show people like I'm working, but I'll probably tie all those loose ends and actually turn it into a project, and just go back into doing these small performances here and there via headset. And then once I'm more in a relaxed state or feeling more comfortable to be moving around a lot, I'll probably go back on tour again.
Heck
And
yeah.
mhm,
Man, that one's gonna be crazy too, because you got that new motivation, you know what I'm saying, to push you. So that's
mhm.
gonna be, heck yeah. Getting you tour. Where can we stay up with you? Where can we stay up with the music, and then to be able to stay up with, the rest of the stuff that you got going on?
So everything is always going to be through Instagram first. So that's Angltheartist.vr, on all platforms. You can find me at ANG''L, for all the music. And then sometimes I post unreleased music on BandLab. That's also
Mhm.
just Angel the Artist. So you could definitely check that out, and see the work in progresses that I do and whatnot. I am coming out with the Patreon around my birthday, so November, um, and that'll just have more of merch standpoint, art standpoint, music. It'll be like an all-in-one inclusive thing. So you're not just only seeing one side of just XR development or just music. You're getting the whole everything, even real
The
life
whole
stuff,
experience.
the
Okay.
rugs that I do or tattoos that I do,
Nice.
poetry, all that stuff. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay. So we have all that. You'd be able to get all. Man, that's gonna be awesome. So you're gonna supercharge all that. You just gotta have the baby, and then everything's getting supercharged from there. The tattoo and all that stuff. Are you within the tattoo, and are you pushing that to like what is your goal with the tattooing? I just want to know on that.
The tattooing is pretty stagnant right now.
Okay.
Mostly just because I'm not looking towards going to a shop and I don't have the space within my personal, home to be doing tattoos. So if anything, any content via tattoos, either self tattoos that I put on myself or tattoos that I put on my family just to create content for it. And mostly just keep my skill set up because, you don't want to let anything waver.
Lose them. Yeah.
But yeah, tattooing is just gonna be a content kind of thing, probably until 2026
Okay.
maybe, if I'm being honest.
Okay, hey, as long as you have the goals and you organize it for it, you know what I mean? Like I said, I like that you're very goal oriented. The fact that you started off with, saying, "Hey, this is the money I'm going to get this VR headset," and then it went from there. Just so you guys can see, you took a big step. Leaving your job at your teaching job, something that I'm sure that you felt really stable in, and the fact that all these people told you, "Hey, what the hell? What are you doing?" Thinking that they're helping you, and the aspect that added a lot of stress and a lot of I guess weight to that you shouldn't have had at that time.
Hmm.
So it's crazy to see how far you've gone, and it's going to be crazy to see how far you're going. And not only, to look back and see, it's like putting. I always say this: putting steps in the snow. It's not just looking back and seeing I told you. It's also showing these people that like, hey man, just like I believed in myself, you can also do the same thing. What I mean, you see the risk that I took, and it's paid off for you. So I really appreciate you for coming through today and motivating us and just telling us your story, what I mean, from what you've done and how it motivates you because it is hard. It is hard taking that leap. It is hard, saying, you know what, let me chase this game, this video game, let me chase this how how
Right.
people say it. Let me do this stuff. And well, you know what? You chase this video game and this little game and it's helping you. It's giving you freedom and it's allowing you to spend time with your family in ways that maybe in the past you haven't been able to. So congrats on that.
Exactly.
And I'm really
Thank
excited
you.
to see all the stuff that you got going on and for the baby to be born. And man, it's crazy. It's just wild how life is sometimes, but it's
Mhm.
awesome to know, people like you and many other people in here. So thank you so much for coming through.
Oh,
If you
thank you
want to
so
leave
much
us
for
with any
having me.
words, let us know.
Honestly, just what I've always been preaching, just be the better you than you were yesterday. Always
There you go.
progressing. That's all it's about.
Heck yeah, man. You guys heard that. Thank you so much for coming through. This is every single Monday. Angel, thank you so much for real for your time and just kind of empowering us for this. This is every time I get out of here, man, I feel like I just had like a Cuban coffee. You know what I'm saying? I'm like ready to run and everything. But
I
thank you
feel
so
that.
much for real for coming through and everybody who came through in the audience. Like I said, I kind of focus on Ben over here that does the camera. And shout out once again to Ben because he's hey, if you need a cameraman or you got something that you need recorded and everybody else is booked or you need somebody overall, man, just hit up Ben. He's been doing this for a little while and I really like being able to bring this stuff out like everybody's been able to go through them. So check it out, man. Check out his Instagram, check out his YouTube. And once again, thank you so much, Rio, for coming through. We out. If you guys want to come through and take a picture, feel free to come up. I usually take a picture. And man, thank you so much, man. Let me hold on.
Not me grabbing the mic.
Do we wait till she comes back?
Toot, toot, toot.
Sorry.
Awesome. What's up, Biggie Paws?
What up? What up? How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
What's
What
up,
up, Big Ben?
Beneficial?
My apologies. Where we at? What's up, man?
What up? What up? What up?
Come here, Ben. Let's get everybody in here.
Jesus, not. Oh, my drift is terrible.
Oh dang, is she going out? Oh yeah, I think she. All right. I'll take one here, and then if she comes back, we'll take another one. It's not a big deal. All right, ready? 1, 2, and 3. All righty.
The
Man, I gotta start
drift.
getting my outfits together, man.
I'm still rocking the same.
Yeah, but it's not fair though, man. That's what I in the beginning I thought I was being smart by changing my outfits around. And then I was like, damn, and then people lock down some outfits, and then
What are
you
you
can't
looking at
wear the
again?
Hardy for
I
sure.
can't hear
You
you.
can't wear
Yeah.
the Danica.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Just put it on.
Nah,
Save Danica
you-
for the day.
When I went to I wore the same.
It literally kicked me out the whole app, and then I came back, and I was still here.
Let me push this back, right? So I get everybody.
The
Who's
echo
over
is
there?
killing
Who's
me.
behind? E-class, I think it's you. Let me see. All right,
Yep.
there you go.
I'll
Oh, wait.
go on this side.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
got,
I think.
yeah, we got some room on this side.
All right, there you go.
Oh, my
I think we
glasses.
got it. Wait. All right, there you go. You guys ready?
My controller.
1,
Mhm.
2, 3. Man, we got to get these nameplates out, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All righty. Thank you. All
Sweet.
righty.
Oh, so sorry for the
Man.
internet issues.
Nah, you're good. That's
Yeah,
why I
what you
try
gonna do?
to keep it as chill as possible.